Morning, even afternoon. TimTheTatman 2. We got a banger for you today, baby. There's a big debate in the gaming world recently that happened, and it's controller and aim assist versus mouse and keyboard. Now, obviously, all of you know I am a mouse and keyboard player first. It's what I've usually done. I played a lot of Counter-Strike growing up, so it feels the most natural to me. That being said, I also played controller. I played a lot of Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox 360, and throughout my life, I played a lot of Call of Duty on controller years and years ago now. I'm kind of in the middle of the road on this, but at the end of this, you'll see that I kind of lean one way or the other. I'll let y'all figure out what one that is. If you enjoy this, drop a like on and share with a friend. If you're not subscribed over here to TimTheTatman 2, hit the sub button and ring the bell. All right, be sure to tell somebody you love them, okay? I'll catch you in the next one. Yesterday, there was a huge debate in the gaming community between mouse and keyboard and controller, courtesy of Doc. And so today, Doc and I decided that we're gonna play on controller. Should be an interesting one, man. Should be the interesting part of the whole. Am I gonna talk about this a little bit? Like controller versus mouse and keyboard. All right, listen, guys, okay. Here's my take, all right, on the controller versus mouse and keyboard debate, okay? Since the dawn of time, video games have came from the controller. First video game I ever played, there was a controller in my hand. Super Nintendo. When I was 3, I would play controller because that's where it came from with me, right? From the dawn of time. Now, I'm in a unique position when it comes to controller versus mouse and keyboard, and here's why. When I grew up, I played a lot of controller console games. For example, I played a lot of Call of Duty on Xbox 360, right? I did. But, and here's the big but for me, in the same breath, I played a lot of mouse and keyboard. Okay. I played Counter-Strike 1.6 when I was a young lad. I believe I was like 13. So I'm in a weird spot with controller, and here's my feeling on kind of the whole thing. A lot of people seem to complain about aim assist being broken, controller being broken, but then ultimately they, you know, I mean, I tweeted yesterday, and I truly stand by what I said. If controller is so broken, right, then play on it and play controller. If aim assist is so broken, then play aim assist, right? Play with it. And ultimately, anyone that's on mouse and keyboard, most people are gonna be like, it's broken, and then not play on controller. It's like if you say to anyone, oh, mouse and keyboard or controller is broken, and then you try and hand that person a controller and say, go for it. They won't do it. I'm in a unique spot. I played mouse and keyboard growing up a lot, but I also played a lot of controller. So if I'm honest with you, I'm kind of middle of the road. And what I mean by that is I understand where people come from playing controller. And in the same breath, I understand how people love mouse and keyboard and only want to play mouse and keyboard. Here's the interesting part to me. There are games that you will not be able to play controller in. Example, Counter-Strike. If you take the best controller player in the world on controller against Simple in CS, Simple's gonna win that 100%. And that's just without, Simple's also like a freak of nature when it comes to Counter-Strike. But that's kind of the example I mean, where it's like there are certain games where it's not gonna cross over. It's just not, right? I mean, Counter-Strike doesn't really have aim assist. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Counter-Strike Go, it came out on Xbox for like a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, does anyone know? I don't even know if that had aim assist on it. It was so bad. Anywho, it was, I think it was Xbox Counter-Strike came out on. Anywho, but so like if you take if you take someone like the best controller player, like I'm just going to say Scump. Scump, in my opinion, is one of the better Call of Duty players in the world. Very good controller player, right? If you take Scump and you put him on controller against Simple in Counter-Strike, right? Simple's probably going to kill Scump in Counter-Strike, right? But I think the reason the debate is so loud, and what I mean by loud is a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it in Warzone, is because you have top mouse and keyboard players, and then you also have top controller players in the same game where they're living in the same like entity, for lack of a better term. Because there are some games with like no aim assist that if you're on mouse and keyboard, ultimately, right? They're not going to do well with no aim assist. They're just not. And that's just facts. I think the reason it's so dominant in Warzone is because of the ecosystem. Ecosystem's a great word, chat. Great word. And what it is you have people that are very good mouse and keyboard players that are frustrated because you have a game like Call of Duty that has aim assist and always has had aim assist, and people have been playing controller for so long. In my opinion, this mouse versus keyboard versus controller debate in Call of Duty will never be resolved. It won't. If you want to take mouse and keyboard and controller over to Valorant, that's a completely different discussion. If you want to take it over to Counter-Strike, that's a completely different discussion. But at the end of the day, and I'll say the mouse, if you take a top controller player in Warzone against a top mouse and keyboard player in Warzone, who you guys putting your money on? I'm putting my money on controller, 100%. Because they're a very good controller player and they have aim assist. Ultimately. My thing that kind of I stand on is if you're a mouse and keyboard person and you're complaining about controller, if you really think controller is really that broken, then play, and you're a top player and you're trying to get earnings and shit, play controller then. Otherwise, it's just something they're gonna have to live with. That's just kind of bottom line, bro. I mean, because there are people that are incredibly good at both. I think a TP is an incredible mouse and keyboard player and an incredible controller player, 100%. And if I'm completely honest with you in this whole like debate, I even though I'm a mouse and keyboard guy, I'm like more controller sided. And what I mean by that is like, at the end of the day, people can piss and moan as much as they want, bro. But if they ain't gonna try and switch something, then what are we complaining for, right? And just to be clear, I have very much complained about aim assist. I always complain about controller, shit like that. 100%. That's kind of in the moment, right? When I'm heated. But as someone, when you take a step back and kind of reflect on it, ultimately, it's true. I mean, and that's why today I'm hopping out controller and I'm going to see if I can make something work with it. You know, maybe I'll full swap to a controller player. Who knows? But I really do think that, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this. I don't think there's going to be a resolution in the Warzone community about mouse and keyboard versus controller unless there are almost two separate playlists, to be completely honest. It's like I think about a tournament setting, right? How a lot of tournaments, you have controller players that are beating out mouse and keyboard players. There are some where mouse and keyboard win, right? But it's almost like but then you're splitting the community up, and then what the hell are we even doing, man? It's in my opinion, stupid, to be honest. I'd rather have the Warzone community as one community and not try and split us up as mouse and keyboard Warzone versus controller Warzone. And that's just my, I'm also, take me with a grain of salt. I'm not a professional player. I'm a content creator. I have fun. I'm not awful, but honest to God, bro, guys, stuns and aim assist, that's crazy. And I think some of you should agree with me on that. Anyone? If you're a controller player, like stun, the whole how you guys get stunned and you can still kill me through it, crazy. But I mean, that's fine. That's fine. that that's a little crazy. You shouldn't be able to do that to me, but that's like about it. But ultimately, man, my thing on controller versus mouse and keyboard, end of the day, if you are a competitive player and you really are frustrated with controller being broken, then switch to it and see how broken it really is. I think the biggest problem is a lot of mouse and keyboard players will discredit the skill of controller players. That's where I think the big point of tension comes in, because like these guys on controller, like you guys are gonna watch me play controller today. I'm terrible. I'm bad. I haven't played controller in years, man. You know what I mean? And there is a level of skill that if you need on controller, there is, period. And that's just kind of bottom line. Like if Myth hops on controller and Myth tries to play against Scump on controller, Myth's getting fucking torched all day. You know what I mean? So whatever, man. Bottom line, I'm a mouse and keyboard guy, but I kind of side more with controller players, to be honest, because all mouse and keyboard people seem to do is just complain. to be completely honest with you, but I feel like that was good. Just a good little synopsis. Right? Synopsis.